The birth of the Christ child that we're celebrating this season represents that unconditional love in its full expression. In the symbology of the Christmas story, Jesus is born in very humble beginnings, and I don't think it's by accident that that's the way the story was written, even if it didn't happen that way. He was born in a manger or in a barn. Some versions even describe it as a cave. And in our own rebirth, we are called to create that humble, sacred space for our own rebirth, whether it's a manger space or a cave or someplace sacred deep within our hearts. That place that allows us to be present in that sense of humility, in the sense of awe, in the sense of the silence, and in the sense of the anticipation of what's possible when love flows freely through us. Sometimes our mind gets too crowded with fear or regret or long shopping lists, or even a sense of pride when things are going well, to say, I'm good right where I'm at. And it keeps us from being able to fully receive, to really call forth new ways of being in our world. Sometimes when the world has fallen down around us is the exact opening that we need to be able to really touch and experience and embody that divine energy of love. So this holy season is an invitation once again to move from the inn of our mind that's too crowded with all of our thoughts to the manger of our heart, so that we can fully experience in every breath the love that's always present, just not always in our awareness. This kind of love, like God, is sometimes difficult to define or to describe in human terms. Perhaps that's why we're sort of irresistibly drawn to both. We seem to have this innate drive to find both God and love present in our lives. And our need for love is as real as our need for food and shelter. It's imperative for our own health and well-being. The Dalai Lama says that love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. Our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, describes it in this way. He says, in divine mind, in the realm of possibilities, love is the power that joins and binds in divine harmony the universe and everything in it. Love is the great harmonizing principle known to humankind. It is what binds us all. It is what connects us all. It is the very essence of what we've been created from. So during this holy season, I pray that your and mine and all of humanity's heart becomes alive with this awareness that God loves you. Can you hear that? Can you take it in? Sometimes we may hear it and it passes through the mind, but we can't grasp it. God loves me. God loves you. And if we can begin to just embody this one simple statement, it will change our world. I want to share with you, and some of you might have seen this, and it's a good reminder of this power of the awareness that God loves you.
You say words are things and that they're so powerful. So what words do you turn to for comfort?
Love. And again, see, I don't mean, I think love is that condition in the human spirit so profound that it allows us to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be the energy which keeps the stars in the firmament.
Yes.
I'm not sure. It may be the energy which keeps the blood running smoothly through our veins. I'm not sure. But it's something beyond the explanation. It can be used for anything you can explain, any good thing you can explain.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you go for solace, for comfort? Are there books that you read, or when Maya Angelou needs comforting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you use?
I'm a student of Unity, and there's a book called
The Unity
Lessons in
Church?
Unity Church.
Mm-hmm.
Maya first discovered the Unity Church in her 20s after her voice coach and mentor, Fred Wilkerson, invited her to a service there. Founded in 1889, Unity is a Christian movement that emphasizes affirmative prayer and education as a path to spirituality.
I took a course in Unity about 2 years ago, online. Not to become a member, a minister, but just to understand more deeply. There's a book called Lessons in Truth.
Wow.
And in the book, there's a line which is, God loves me. And when I came to read it to my then mentor, Frederick Wilkerson, the late Frederick Wilkerson, I read, God loves me. And he said, read it again. And I said, God loves me. He said, read it again. Read it again. And finally, I said, God loves me. It still humbles me that this force, which made leaves and fleas and stars and rivers and you, loves me. Me, Maya Angelou. It's amazing. I can do anything and do it well. Any good thing, I can do it. That's why I am who I am. Yes, because God loves me and I'm amazed at it and grateful for it.
And demonstrating that love that is extended to each of us, and that love that we are called to extend to those who are still in that discovery process. One of the most profound moments of experiencing this kind of love for me has been in those quiet moments of holding a baby. Perhaps some of you have had that experience, and if you haven't, borrow one. And simply just gaze into their eyes. In those moments, it feels as if I'm looking into the eyes of unconditional love. It feels as though I'm looking into the eyes of creation itself in its very early formative stages. And it feels like the universe is wrapping its arm around me, or sometimes just a little finger that gets grabbed onto and enveloping me with love. I imagine Mary and Joseph and all who were drawn to this newborn child all these years ago experienced that same depth of love. Perhaps it's so profound because this exchange of love has nothing to do with who we are, what we've done, what we haven't done. This love has nothing to do with our achievements. No baby is impressed with us because what we've accomplished in the world. It has nothing to do with our education or lack of education, how we look, where we've been. This love comes simply from recognizing the presence of God through the eyes of another. This baby can look and see the very soul of us when we've somehow forgotten to be able to see that in one another. And in that moment comes a simple realization that God loves me. At least that's what happened for me. And when we love somebody, we're called to love them not because of who they are, but simply because they are. Who they are may delight us, and it may not. Either way, we can love them. To love someone doesn't mean that we like them. Sometimes we get those things confused. We say, I love you because of what you just have done for me. But really, in truth, we're probably saying, I really like that. I really like what you just did. Christ's love is understanding that when we look into someone's eyes, we're looking into the eyes of another child of God. That is the kind of love that is seeking to always be born in new ways within each of us. And once we can begin to embrace this profound truth that God loves me, because we have to embody it ourselves before we can let it flow from us. Even the parts of me that I dare not show to the world. We can expand our awareness to the truth that God not only loves me, but God loves all of its creation. I have been created out of the image and out of the essence of love. Everything, as we've been exploring this past fall, has been created out of that same energy of love. And ultimately, when it expands enough within us, we discover that I am not only created out of that, I'm here to be an expression of it. Love is the very fabric of who we are. It's what sustains us. It's what, as Maya referenced, it breathes us. It is the most important gift that we give and that we receive. The Christ child came into the world to awaken us to this love, to this truth, to demonstrate to each of us that innate blessing and that potential that arises when we can be that love in action. In a moment, we're going to move into a time of meditation. And Charles Fillmore once said that one should make it a practice to meditate regularly on the idea that love is the very energy and essence of everything, and to call forth in our own beings an awareness of that by praying, divine love, manifest thyself in me. He goes on to say that this love produces a current, a love current, a physical current, as well as an emotional current, which, when sent forth with the power, with will, breaks up any opposing thought of hate or unworthiness. This love current is not a projection of the will, it is a setting free of the natural, equalizing, harmonizing force that in many people has been dammed up by a belief in unworthiness. To know that we are worthy of God's love opens up channels of new ways of experiencing it in our world. So we're going to do another video here in just a moment, and you can watch it if you would like, if you want to have your meditation time watching this, or you can close your eyes and just listen and allow that experience to happen within. And then as the video ends, we're going to sit for 1 minute in the silence. I'm going to tell you it's 1 minute. It may seem like a long time for some of you. It may go by like the blink of an eye for others. But once that minute is done, then I'll begin to bring you back. So let's start the video. the loving child, willingly being a presence for each who would come to exchange a moment of love. All the love of the Christ child. And invite it to come and fill your heart in this moment. Imagine that you are gazing into the eyes of divine love. See it filling your entire body and radiating out into the space around you. We take a moment to allow that current of divine love to fill us, to spill out into the world, and to connect us with all of life in the silence. As you slowly and gently begin to bring your awareness back to this time and to this space, allow that frequency, one of the highest frequencies there are of love, to flow through you as you return back into this moment of time, as you take it with you throughout this day and this holy season. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. You know, as we celebrate the birth of Jesus, we celebrate this gift, this awareness brought into new ways into our life as our gift to the world. The message that God created us out of that very fabric and energy of love. Not the kind of love like we have as parents that are pleased when we're doing well and not so pleased when we aren't doing as well. That's sort of reflected by that Old Testament thinking about a God that gets angry or gets happy. This God is that energy of love always. It represents, as the Christ does, that agape, that unconditional love, that loves because that's simply its nature. That is the vibration of love that's beckoning to each of us so that we too can be born in new ways in this high frequency of love. So this season, we're called to up-level as much as we can this love vibe, to be the very energy of love, to allow that to radiate from our hearts so that we can invite and beckon others to do the same. You know, as wonderful as it is to give, and this is a very giving community, and it's generously donate a lot during this holiday season, from the Thanksgiving dinners that we gave to blankets and socks that recently went to the church on the slab, and then this past week, the gift cards and presents that we brought to I Can Still Shine. It's a beautiful feeling. It warms our hearts when we know that we can lift the spirits, especially of children at this time. But getting to experience that, and I understand, Haley, you got to go to the I Can Still Shine party yesterday, can really change our vibration. To watch it. It's one thing to know and to give it, but to really be witness to it's being received, and the joy and the awareness of those individuals that somebody really cares about me. Somebody cares enough to take the time and the energy to support me in this difficult time I may be experiencing. That is one way we can really up our own love vibration. So my invitation for each of us is to find an avenue to experience this joy and the love that's shared when you can see it being received by someone who has that great energy of appreciation. Whether it's distributing food for the food bank, serving meals at a homeless shelter, visiting with elders in a nursing home who may not get very, very many visitors this season. There are a myriad of opportunities out there, and I'm just going to encourage you between now and Christmas or shortly after to find a way that you can not just give, and that's a beautiful thing, but to be present in the giving, to be able to experience that in its fullness. And if you're having trouble, and sometimes it's difficult for many people to find that spirit of love during the Christmas season, especially if we're experiencing loss, it can be difficult to up our love vibe, if you will, then see if you can find a child, a little baby. When they get to about 2.5, they'll go, no. As my most recent lovely grandchild is happy to, at one moment, be delightful, and at the next go, no, not so much right now, but find a baby. Borrow one if you need to. And just spend a few moments gazing in the eyes of that child. I guarantee you will walk away with a much higher love vibration. As we move through this Christmas season, my prayer is that you and I awaken in new ways, knowing that God loves you. God loves me. And we're here to share that love with the world. Blessings as you move forward in that love energy that is the Christmas season. Well, it is our opportunity to share of our financial good with this ministry. We're very grateful for the people who give via our electronic program, and we are open to the infinite realm of possibilities in the way in which we receive our good. So we're grateful for all of the ways that you share with this community. Those who are watching us online, we certainly invite you to go to centerofunity.org, to the give page, to share of your good with this community, and also receive an affirmation by just scrolling down on the screen. We are abundantly blessed, and we know those blessings continue as we continue that energy of gratitude, which is just another form of love. So let us take that energy, that high love vibration, and bless these gifts. Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Thank you.
Sing along with us, please. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moments now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternal.
And so as we go into this day, into this week, seeking to up our love vibe to its highest vibration possible, we go knowing our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a wonderful week.